So I really want to make a video about my dating fails. Well, it's gonna be a series because I have so many. Whoa, blend girl. Whoa. Okay, so it's gonna be a series because there's so many to choose from. But we're gonna start with the worst. So, a few years ago now, I can't really remember to be honest because there's been so many, but this is the worst. So, I was speaking with, okay, so I met a girl online and I struggle to remember what site it was because I've been on many sites due to my very obscure preferences and needs. So I think it was a gay site. It used to be called Her, but I think they changed it. Anyway, so we met there and we were talking for a while and then we moved to WhatsApp. And we spoke on WhatsApp for months and months and months. At the time she was on holiday in Taiwan, maybe China, I can't remember. I think it was China. So the time zone was crazy. At the time I had dropped out of college and I was falling into depression. Yay! And basically I became nocturnal. Not even sarcastically, I would be up all night and I would sleep all day and I had no other commitments, so I just fell into this cycle of just being up all night, and it fit perfectly with the time zone in China. So we spoke daily for the months that she was at home with her family on this holiday, and we got really close. I actually think that a huge reason why we became so close was because I was depressed and nocturnal. Please ignore my stomach. And she was in China at the time, because really I don't think we had that much in common. Oh my god, please be quiet. I don't think we ever had that much in common. We just had schedules that fit together really nicely. So it was convenient and it was a companion during a really lonely period in my life, and she was on a family holiday board and it just worked like that. But I don't think we ever really liked each other, and I think it's why when we met in person it was so tragic. But I don't think that we had that much in common. It was just a convenience thing. To the point that when she came back to her university, we were at the stage of moving to video chats, and she never wanted a video chat. This is not a catfish story. She was who she said, but I remember that video was an issue and I kind of had to always like kind of beg for it. And then when we did have it, she wanted to hide, or she just felt really nervous on camera. It was just very strange. And around the time that she moved back to university, she had started to go out at night, like a lot. Also, while I'm editing this, I want to say that obviously uni students go out a lot. I work with students, I'm well aware, but it wasn't necessarily her going out that was the issue. It was her behaviour and the extent that she was drinking, which I still know is usual for students, but I just found it really shocking. So, and it just doesn't match with me and my values, so that's just some clarification. Every day. And when she went out, she drank really excessively, which I am all for having a good time. I am weird and I do drugs and my friends do drugs, but something about alcohol has never agreed with me. I can actually do a story time about the reason why I quit drinking forever and ever. That could be fun. But yeah, so I was getting a bit put off with the fact that she would get blackout drunk during pre-drinks before she would even go out, and a lot of the time she wouldn't be able to go out because she had drank so much beforehand that she was in no fit state to leave and drink more, which is really dangerous and really scary. So that's just a little note to remember because it comes into play a bit later. So I'm growing these bits out and it's really annoying. Sometimes I'm living for them, and then sometimes I'm like, it's really annoying. So yeah, we're talking, and we're kind of getting to a stage where we're like, we need to meet up, and after we meet, if it goes well, we can progress to maybe putting a label on this thing. So it was quite exciting. And she lived quite a while away, so we had to plan our first meeting quite thoroughly, and we never really did. This is where everything went wrong. So we had a rough idea of what we were going to do, and obviously when, and she would have to pay for a train into London and back. So she needed somewhere to stay, and I know that we don't know each other, in stranger danger, but we had built up a bit of trust, I hoped anyway, during our communications, and I had a spare room, a spare bed, so we didn't even have to be near each other, but I understand that she didn't want to do that. That's completely valid, but it was an option. So she decided she was going to stay. Well, her friend offered to put her up, and her friend was a bit weird. He was very focused on his studying. He had a fixed schedule. He had a specific bedtime, and he gave her a curfew of when she needed to come back. Otherwise he wasn't going to let her in, and all of this crazy stuff. So we'll remember him for later too. So let's just get to the day. So on the date day, something happened, and for some reason she arrived earlier than she was supposed to. And she was like, dropped me a message, and she was like, oh, I'm here a day earlier, shall we just meet up now instead of tomorrow? And I was at a belly dance class, or I was going to one, and it was really late. I remember I used to go to class about maybe 7:30 or 8, around, I think maybe 8, and I came out at 9, whatever time. It was late in the evening, around that time. So I realise I'm really close and I don't like it. So yeah, so it takes me by surprise, but I'm like, cool, but we need to eat because I am starved. I can't even express to you how starving I was at this time, because you can't really eat before belly dance because you're belly dancing and it feels gross and you want to puke. So I hadn't eaten before the class. The class was maybe an hour and a half, so afterwards I am ready to eat. So I tell her the location of where I am, and we agree to meet up somewhere to get food. So I call her, and she says that she's just booked tickets for the cinema, and the cinema is gonna start in 15 minutes. So I'm really annoyed because I want to eat first. We've never met before, and you've booked us tickets to go to the cinema to sit in silence. It's going to be so awkward. Why would you ever do that? And I'm hungry because I have not eaten since the morning. Maybe I didn't even eat in the morning because I'm really bad at that. So maybe I haven't eaten all day. Can you imagine? And then I've just exerted myself for an hour and a half and I'm so hungry. So I'm pissed and I'm like, okay, let me go to the cinema to see her. Let's just, let us go in and it's all gonna be fine. So I go to the cinema, and obviously, like, at this point we've been talking for ages. I'm really excited to see her, and I saw her. This is my fault. This is where my problem was. I saw her in the cinema and I like hugged her, and I was like, oh my god, hi, like, excited. And she never recovered from that hug, okay? Like, never. She never recovered, ever. for the 2 days that we met up, she had never got over that instant where I shocked her, and I was like, that's where I went wrong. I should have approached calmly. She doesn't know me. She probably thought I was someone really random. Yeah, so my bad, okay? This is why I went on a date recently, which is gonna be another episode in this. And yeah, so I asked for permission if I could hug her. But I'm asexual and I'm weird, so you can just let me off of that. So anyway, but I asked her because of this. So she was shook, and the first meeting was awful, and we were rushing. So we get in the queue, and she wants to get alcohol. So we're at a venue in central London, which is quite pricey. And they have a bar. Not all cinemas have a bar, but this one did. And she wanted to get alcohol. And I'm like, firstly, we're late. And firstly, you made us come here and I don't really want to be here. And now you're going to make us queue up for alcohol. And I'm not going to drink, so it's just a bit weird. So we're in the line. I don't remember if I even got popcorn, which is a mistake because I should have eaten. So we go in. And we're watching The Danish Girl, and I don't know if you know, but The Danish Girl is about a beautiful transgender woman. And this is gonna play a crucial part in our story. So remember that. So we go in, and she's just like straight face. And I'm pissed at this point. I'm already pissed. I get progressively more pissed as it goes on, but I was pissed. So we're both there, just kind of like, you know, because the film's going to start soon. We don't even have the adverts. We aren't the only people in the cinema at this time. There were quite a few others. And it's quite a respected area and a kind of high-key cinema. So there's some etiquette that needs to be followed in the cinema. And we get in. I remember she got me a gift, and I think she gave it to me in the cinema. This was a really long time ago, so my memory is stretched, but it was a keyring, a cat keyring, and it makes this like really shrill screaming noise, and we trigger it off in the cinema, so people like getting pissed, like people were turning around. So we just start to watch the film. Her phone was flashing, people were getting pissed with us, and she kept trying to talk to me. And listen, I've worked at Odeon, I am a movie nerd, I care about theatre etiquette, cinema etiquette. Just do not talk to me. I don't care who you are, I don't care at all. Never talk to me in the cinema, because I will just get up and I will move away from you. But obviously this is a first date, so I can't move away from you, but I'm getting pissed off. And she starts to say like, oh, are you mad? Are you mad at me? Yes, obviously. But she was like, are you mad? We should go. Let's just leave. I'm like, we are not going to leave mid-film, because I would never do that. Apart from like when I was really young, I remember I left, that's the only time I've ever left a cinema, like midway through the film. And this is a film I really want to see, so I am not going anywhere. So we're not going, it's not even an option. Just don't even talk to me at this point. She's like, oh, like, I'm really sorry, you're mad at me, right? You're really mad at me, like, we should go. But at this point I'm being really stubborn and really like awful, so I'm like, I'm just gonna stay and not talk to her at all. So I'm like, people are getting mad at us, we're not going, and I just watch the film. So just leave the film. That happens. So afterwards it's very late, and remember her friend? She has a curfew, and we are a long way from his house. So we decide that we'll try to find food near his place. She hasn't warmed up to me and I haven't warmed up to her. It's awkward, and we end up in an Uber for half an hour maybe to the destination. So when we get to the destination, everything is closed and her curfew is long past. So we go to McDonald's and we order 20 nuggets. I will never forget. 20 nuggets. And we sit down. There's drunk people falling everywhere. There's like a businessman asleep. It's really weird. There's strange music. The tension is awful. And I eat like 2 nuggets. She eats some and she's like, oh, I think we should rate the date. So she's like, write down on paper what you think the date was, like on a scale of 1 to 10, and I'll write mine and we'll flip it over. So considering how bad the date has gone so far, is it really a good idea to do this? I don't think so. So we do, and I think I rated it a 2. I think it was something really brutal and I wrote like 2. I don't remember. It was so bad in comparison to her number that it just made everything get worse. So let's say I said 2 and she said 7. And she was like, really? 2? And I was like, well, yeah. Firstly, we went somewhere I didn't even want to go. I'm starving. We've only eaten now. And that just crashed and burned. So then she gets a text from the guy and he's like, where the fuck are you? So she's like, I'm gonna take the nuggets and give them to him. I don't remember if we had no, it was by text. So I'm gonna give him the nuggets so he will be like appeased that I was late for the curfew. So I've had 2 nuggets. I think we paid half. So I haven't eaten anything. Oh, and during the Uber, I get mega car sick. So by the time we arrived at destination, I wanted to vomit. And I was so mad. I had a headache from hunger. It was just so bad. It was so bad. I can't explain how bad. It was just so bad. So she takes the nuggets and she puts them in her bag. I remember that. I literally ate 2. And then we go, I don't remember if it was a walking distance or if she needed to get a bus. Something happened. We went outside. And she didn't even want to hug me goodbye. And keep in mind, we still had plans for the next day because she was making a trip out of this. She had bought a ticket and travelled in to London to have a weekend. So we are going home. Oh, and it was kind of unsure at this point if we were going to meet up again the next day. So we end up wait I end up stranded in central London. No, it's not central London. I don't know where is it. It's not South London. It's Kensington. Okay, if you know where Kensington is, it's really hard to get to South Kensington apart from the tube, and the tube was not running. Was the tube not running? I don't remember. It was a weird, I don't know. But I was stranded, that's all I remember, and there was no other option because Uber would be way too expensive to get me to my house. So she leaves and we have a row over text, like the most intense text message argument I've ever had in my life. And during this message, when I'm stranded and I've had to get 4 night buses, no lie, I had to get a night bus change because it terminated. It was the wrong direction, changed back to the right direction, then it terminated. I had to get another bus and then another bus home, and then I still had to walk. I got back in the early hours of the morning, but during the whole bus ride we are having an argument and she says, we should never have seen that fucking movie anyway. And I was like, actually the movie has been the best part of this experience. I thought it was really beautiful. And we're going back and forth about the movie before it spirals into disaster. I don't remember if she said it in person to me or if she said it in text. Either way, there was a point where she said to me that Eddie Redmayne never became a woman in the first place, and the movie was pointless because Eddie died before becoming a woman. Please keep in mind that we are 2 women in the LGBT umbrella and family. Let's take a moment. Eddie Redmayne, the Danish girl, was always a woman! She was always a woman! It's the whole point of the movie. She was always a woman. She was always a woman. I literally, to this day, she was always a woman. What do you mean that she had died before she became a woman? Spoilers, she dies after she has bottom surgery, and she's like the first ever patient to have bottom surgery successfully, and then she dies from complications. My date said that she had never become a woman. I am just thinking, did we not just sit through the exact same film together? I am boiling. I have like screamed over her at a text message conversation. I was just like, oh, do we not watch the same thing? Are you not a lesbian woman? So yeah. So we ended up having this intense argument about this and other things, and I can't believe she just said that to me. I'm crying on the night bus. There's really weird people. I'm stranded. I have to get 4 buses home. I can't afford a cab. I get home in the early hours, it's bright outside, and it wasn't even night out, so it wasn't even worth it. Yes. So, oh, and another thing we started arguing about, I'm like, let's just forget today. You know what? I'm just gonna forget the transphobic comment that you made, and let's just try again tomorrow, you know? Like, you've had a long journey. I've just come from my dance class. We should never have met up today. We should have just stuck with our original plan and do something tomorrow. Like, let's just give it another go. I'm trying to be really gung-ho. Like, let's just, you know, yay. You've paid a lot to have your ticket, so, you know, I'm gonna stop it because I think it's gonna die, and if I lose this, I'm gonna cry. So, yeah. I'm like, let's just try again. I know it's been so bad, but you know what? Like, you're here, let's just make the most of it. We'll try again. So, the next day, she hadn't slept much at all because the weird guy was really mad at her and he didn't provide anywhere proper for her to sleep. She slept on the floor. So, she slept on the floor. So I wake up in the morning and I'm like, both of us have made fatal errors here, but let's just try and salvage this because we had a relationship built up to this point and it's really sad to let it crash and burn after one experience. So let's just forget everything both of us have done and said and let's just meet up again and we'll try again. Oh, she's saying, I'm just gonna go home. I'm just gonna swap my ticket, which is so expensive to do. She wants to just leave. I need more lipstick, but I can't bother. So, back and forth happens, and we decide we're gonna give it one more chance. Yay. So, we have one more chance. And we meet up again in central London. And we're gonna go to a arcade. Yay, it should be really fun. Arcades are a place of joy and entertainment. When I tell you I met up with this girl and I have never seen such a straight face. She was literally the emoji straight face, like. And this is how she remained for the entirety of our date. So can you imagine? Driving a bumper car is supposed to be really fun. You know, crash into. She was so straight-faced that I didn't even want to crash into her. I was actually scared for my existence. And I just swerved and like played with other people because I was like, if I crash into this girl, she's gonna kill me. So I know that she's tired from not sleeping or like sleeping on this awful thing. So, you know, I sympathize. But Like, come on, let's have fun. We're in an arcade, man. So yeah, so what happens? So we just go, we're doing games, and I don't think she laughed at any point. Literally, I don't think I saw her smile at any point. I've never seen anyone like this in my life. So I spent a lot of money in the arcade, like doing 2-player games, and she's just straight faced. It's like a weird prank show. I'm just waiting for somebody to just pop out. So we end up leaving the arcade, and we're just going for a walk along South Bank, which is the River Thames. So it's really pretty, really romantic. Sometimes there's live music, skyline, you know, Big Ben, landmarks. We're walking along the river, and she's standing away from me like this. Literally like this. Barely any conversation. So we just walk along in silence, and then we're like, let's just, oh, and then she wants to see about swapping the ticket. So we go back to the train station, and I said to her, like, if you want, I'll buy you an airbed so you can sleep tonight and we'll try again tomorrow. Yeah, no. She wasn't having any of that. Obviously she's not going to stay at my house after this, so she doesn't know if she wants to stay again or just go home. And we're sitting, like, we went in Paper Chase and I bought a bag. I still have the bag, I remember. And then we're just in the train station in a Starbucks or a Costa, and we're just like people watching, and we're like, we don't really know what to do. And I was like, maybe we could go to a club, because I know that she likes to drink, and that's probably why she's so bored right now, because she needs alcohol to have fun. So we're just sitting there like people watching, and she's like, oh, I wish we could go to a club too, but I didn't have any clothes. She had a tracksuit on, and you can't club in London in a tracksuit. Yeah, so that plan died. So we're just sitting there, and she's like, I think I'm gonna change my train back. And I can't remember if she goes home at this point or if she stays with the guy one more time. I think she ended up changing her ticket, and then she went back to where she came from. And then we had a talk about the experience and like the rating and the mistakes we both made and her transphobic comments, and then we never spoke again. And then a few months later I got a message from her, and it was like, I'm really sorry. I think I might have even called her out and said that I've never seen someone look so unimpressed in a place of fun, an arcade. And I called her out about like taking the nuggets and not giving me any, and like not buying a sleeping bag and trying to make the most of the situation. And I called her out for like not trying to try again. So that was the worst date that I ever had, and we never spoke again. And I received a message from her and was like, I'm really sorry. And then recently I received another message from her, and she was just asking me like how I was and all of that. And I was really shocked because I just wasn't interested after her transphobic comments. That was literally the end for me, seriously. Yeah, so then I was looking recently on Instagram, and I saw she has a boyfriend. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one.